In today's video, we are going to be talking about the ANAC 400 guide. This video is going to explore useful tips that will help you save costly changes, unexpected expenses, and more. So, make sure you stick around till the end for that. The Brazilian National Civil Aviation Agency Resolution No. 400 or Brazilian ANAC 400 is in place to protect passenger rights, specifically in the face of delays, cancellations, and rescheduling. However, if it is a problem with the airline, you should be safe, as long as it's not extraordinary circumstances like air traffic control strikes, extreme weather, and more. If that's the case, you'll be entitled to care, not compensation. Brazilian ANAC 400 was codified in 2016 following the EC 261/2004. Under Brazilian ANAC 400, you can receive up to 1,500 euros in compensation. Brazil's consumer law. Brazilian ANAC 400 works in tandem with the country's consumer law, which means you could receive additional compensation of 1,500 euros. This law covers moral damages, including wasted time, missed business opportunities, or additional suffering. Which flights are covered by ANAC 400? Look to Brazilian ANAC 400 when you face flight issues that are out of your control, including flight delays, cancellations, or last-minute reschedules. To qualify, your flight must meet any of the following criteria. Connecting flights through a Brazilian airport. You have a touchpoint in Brazil. Flight tickets issued in Brazil, even if your flight is operating internationally. Brazilian domestic flights from city to city within the country. International flights that leave from Brazil. You must start your trip in Brazil. International flights that arrive in Brazil. You must end your trip in Brazil. As long as your flight has something to do with Brazil, you should be covered when the airline is responsible for the delay. Which flights are not covered by ANAC 400? When airlines are at fault for delays, they are responsible for any costs and distress that occurs as a result. However, what happens if you are responsible for your missed flight? Perhaps the security lines were long and you missed your flight or decided to cancel too soon to your flight time and your fare was non-refundable. Unfortunately, you cannot file a claim under Brazilian ANAC 400 or its consumer laws. What constitutes airline responsibility? Airlines can fall prey to internal organizational issues that impact customers, and when that happens, you are entitled to compensation. This could be staff shortages, technical faults, overbooking, and more. If you face a delay, cancellation, or rescheduling, it is worth exploring if you can file a claim against Brazilian ANAC 400 or the consumer law. What compensation can I get? If you're traveling in Brazil at any point in your trip where your ticket was issued in Brazil, you're entitled to compensation if you face flight complications under Brazilian ANAC 400. These include delays, cancellations, last-minute rescheduling, and more, just as long as they are within the airline's control. Moral damages. Brazil takes EU 261 one step forward and lets you claim up to 1,500 euros in moral damages when you miss your flight because of preventable airline issues under their consumer code. Moral damages can include poor treatment or lack of care during your delay, wasted time while waiting for your flight, missed opportunities including personal and business circumstances. Ultimately, Brazilian ANAC 400 seeks to protect passengers if they face any material or moral damages when flying in through or with Brazilian airlines as long as they are preventable by the carrier. Flights delayed more than 4 hours. Should your issue persist for 4 hours or more, you are entitled to additional services. The airline should help to rebook or reroute your flight. If you do not want that, you can choose a full refund, including airport taxes and fees. What are extraordinary circumstances? Extraordinary circumstances are things that occur that are outside of the airline's control. These include medical issues, security issues, weather, air traffic control, strikes. Simply put, extraordinary circumstances mean the event still would have taken place even if all reasonable measures had been taken. ANAC 400 time limit to file a claim. Time limits apply to Brazilian ANAC 400, so you want to ensure your timely as you file a claim. The amount of time you have to file a claim varies depending on if it is a domestic or international flight, no matter where the carrier operates. This ensures that airlines are held accountable in a timely manner. ANAC 400 writes when airline changes your flight. Even the best-laid plans face changes, and airlines are no exception. If this happens, the airline is required to give you at least 72 hours notice if they make changes to your departure time. Domestic flights, more or less 30 minutes. International flights, more or less 1 hour. If the airline does not notify you within 72 hours, under Brazilian ANAC 400, they are required to either rebook or reimburse you for your inconvenience. If preferred, you can ask for alternative transportation to your destination. Refunds and flight ticket replacements. You aren't at the mercy of the airlines if you face a severe delay or cancellation. Instead, under Brazilian ANAC 400, you have a choice. You can choose between the following three options: a full refund of your fare including airport taxes and fees, a ticket for the next available flight, which may or may not be on the same airline. You can also opt to take a later flight on your current airline. Alternate transportation, like a bus fare to your destination. This will include all applicable fees and transport issues. These accommodations will be offered to you free of charge. Brazilian air passenger rights on denied boarding. Brazilian ANAC 400 strives to combat overbooking by holding airlines accountable. Voluntarily give up seat. In some cases, you can volunteer to give up your seat. If you do, you are still required to be compensated. You'll work directly with the airline in this case on what restitution to receive. Involuntarily give up seat. Sometimes there are no volunteers and the airline will choose whom to deny boarding. If this is the case, you will receive an alternate flight, reasonable care depending on the delay length, and additional compensation under Brazilian ANAC 400. Domestic flights, €300. International flights, €600. You have rights if you're denied boarding under Brazilian ANAC 400. How to make your ANAC 400 claim? If you face an issue that's covered under Brazilian ANAC 400, you need to file a claim. Airlines will not automatically credit you, so it's essential that you know your rights and file a claim within the appropriate time length. You have two options on how to file: do it yourself or work with companies that specialize in recovering flight compensation. Conclusion: Brazilian ANAC 400 is a powerful regulation that's meant to protect passengers from unwarranted delays. Many of the issues you face when flying are controllable, and regulations like this hold airlines accountable. No one likes losing money, so the more you file claims, the more likely is they will change. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to know more about ANAC 400, check the link in the description box below. That will take you to the EUFlightCompensation.com's webpage, where we have discussed this topic in more detail. If you have any comments or questions, make sure to drop them below and like this video if you found it useful. Till next time, thanks for watching.